this News Today special coming to you from Mumbai, from the Grand Hyatt Hotel, where even as I speak, the India Alliance, the opposition India Alliance of more than 26 parties is in a huddle at a dinner meeting that's taking place behind me. It's been a day of a lot of drama politically, and we're going to touch on all the hot button points here on the News Today. Our big talking point today will be, has Adani 2.0 shadowed the India meeting? The big new revelations in the Adani saga. Also, has the BJP therefore put Mission 2024 in fast forward special session of Parliament next month? Who is winning the battle of narratives? We'll be joined by special guests in a moment, but first, as always, it's time for the 9 headlines at 9. The Financial Times report, firms links to Vinod Adani allegedly used Mauritius-based funds to invest millions of dollars in Adani Group shares in violation of norms. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi demands a JPC probe. Adani Group calls the charges malicious. Third meeting of opposition bloc India underway in Mumbai. Uddhav Thackeray hosts a gala dinner for opposition leaders. BJP hits out, calls it a corrupt alliance. Government calls a special session of Parliament from the 18th to the 22nd of September. Sources say one nation, one poll, uniform civil code and women's reservation on the to be tabled. Opposition says government trying to divert attention from Adani. India's GDP growth clocks in at 7.8% in the first quarter. India remains the fastest growing major economy. Agriculture leads the charge. ISRO releases a new set of Pragyan rover images. Vikram lander captures the rover rotating for a safer route. Centre tells Supreme Court it's ready to conduct elections in Jammu and Kashmir when Election Commission is ready. Centre also says it cannot commit to a time frame to restore Jammu and Kashmir statehood. Suspense over whether China's Xi Jinping will attend the upcoming G20 summit. News agency Reuters claims Xi's deputy will be attending the summit instead in New Delhi next week. Ambani-owned Viacom 18 bags the BCCI media rights for both TV and digital of India's home games for a 5-year cycle for a whopping 5,963 crores. BCCI to fetch approximately 68 crores per India game. And at least 73 people, including 7 children, are killed after a massive fire engulfed a multi-story building in the center of Johannesburg, South Africa's biggest city. Okay, we're here in Mumbai where the India Opposition Alliance is meeting in a huddle behind me. That's the big breaking news at the moment at that dinner meeting. Speculation rising. Is the Modi government planning to go in for an early election? This comes at a time when the Modi government has announced that it will go for a special session, 5-day session of Parliament in September. Opposition sources telling India Today don't rule out early elections. Opposition sources also claiming that the Parliament session is an attempt to divert from the Adani revelations that took place today. Government insisting that the special session is not about an early election but will be on certain critical issues that they claim are important. We'll see how that plays out, but that's the big story at the moment. The India Alliance, more than 26 parties meeting at a dinner meeting, their third such meeting to try and frame their strategy for the 2024 elections. Now, this opposition meeting, though, has come today against the backdrop of more revelations in the Adani saga. Reports that offshore funds have been traced to the brother of Gautam Adani, the business magnate, his brother Vinod Adani, who lives abroad, and those funds are being suggested were used to pump up the share of the Adani Group. The Congress led by Rahul Gandhi claiming that they have been vindicated, the Adani Group saying the charges are malicious, the BJP staying out of the Adani debate for now. Will the Adani saga now 2.0 resurface once again? That's our top story.
"28 opposition parties are in a huddle in Mumbai. The opposition alliance India is deliberating on a new logo, picking a convener and finalizing a strategy for the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. The Congress, which is driving the opposition unity project to take on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, got fresh ammunition on Thursday.
The Financial Times.
Two British newspapers, Financial Times and The Guardian, published a report on the Adani Group by the Organised Crime and Corruption Reporting Project funded by multi-billionaire George Soros.
Modi-linked Adani family.
The report said that overseas companies linked to Gautam Adani's elder brother Vinod Adani invested millions of dollars in publicly traded companies of the group in violation of norms. The report claimed Nasser Ali Shaban Ali from the UAE and Chang Chung Ling from Taiwan allegedly spearheaded the investments. Both are allegedly linked to Vinod Adani, said the report. Citing the news report, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi repeated his demand for a joint parliamentary committee probe into the Adani Group.
Why is this one gentleman who is close to the Prime Minister of India allowed to move $1 billion to pump up his share price, to use that money to capture Indian assets, airports, ports? Why is there no investigation taking place?
While Rahul Gandhi focused on the Adani Group, most of his partners in the opposition alliance shied away from making public statements on the latest allegations. The Narendra Modi government meanwhile sprang a surprise on the opposition. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi announced a special session of Parliament from September 18th to September 22nd. While Joshi said that the government is looking forward to have fruitful discussions and debate in Parliament amid Amrit Kal, he did not give any info on the agenda of the session. Sources tell India Today that the government could table some key bills like One Nation, One Election, Women's Reservation, etc. during the session. Congress leader Jairam Ramesh called the special session a bid to divert attention from the India alliance and insisted it will demand JPC probe on Adani inside Parliament.
तीन राज्यों का चुनाव है, वो तीनों राज्यों के चुनाव बुरी तरीके से बीजेपी हारने जा रही है, जिसके कारण ये वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन की बात उन्होंने शुरू की है, चलाई जा रही है ये बात। इंडिया गठबंधन से बौखलाहट, घबराहट का नतीजा है।
वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन की तो बगैर हम राय मशवरा कर बगैर सारे स्टेक होल्डर्स से पूछकर, बगैर इलेक्शन कमीशन की रिपोर्ट लेकर तिलमिलाई हुई, घबराई हुई एंड लास्ट स्टेजेस ऑफ पावर में अपना पावर दिखाने की कोशिश करें, हम उसका विरोध करें।
The flurry of moves and counter moves only indicate one thing. The final countdown to Mission 2024 has already begun. With Sahil Joshi and Himanshu Mishra, Bureau Report, India Today.
So is the Adani issue going to shadow the India meeting going on behind me? Coming out of that meeting, to take some time off out of that dinner meeting, is the Congress's senior spokesperson, head of their social media cell, Supriya Srinath, joins me. Supriya, am I right in saying that the Adani issue has shadowed day one of this India alliance? Rahul Gandhi chooses to hold a press conference here saying that the revelations in the Financial Times, Guardian prove that the Adanis and the Modi government have much to answer. Is this Rahul Gandhi's initiative or is this an India campaign against the Adanis? Because I only saw Rahul Gandhi, Jairam Ramesh, KC Venugopal. None of the allies have raised the issue of Adani. Only Rahul Gandhi has.
No, I think farthest from the truth. I think the India Alliance meeting is very important and I think nothing overshadows each other. I think they coexist. What is the whole point of having an India Alliance? An India Alliance has been brought together by people who believe in the Constitution, by people who believe there should be equal opportunities, by people who believe that every corporate in this country should have a level playing field. And here you have a government that is choosing to look the other way when the mega scam is unfolding. And I think Mr. Gandhi was absolutely right in raising the issue because there is a G20 meeting right around the corner. You want to attract investments to India. We don't have a level playing field. Where is the authority of law? SEBI and DRI looking the other way. There are very, very pertinent questions.
No, these are pertinent questions, but Rahul Gandhi seems to be the only one asking them. Sharad Pawar, NCP chief, a few months ago in an interview made it very clear that Adani is good for Indian business. We shouldn't be attacking Adani. I haven't heard Mamta Banerjee attack him. I haven't heard MK Stalin attack him. I haven't heard Congress chief ministers Bhupesh Baghel and Ashok Gehlot have investments of the Adani group in Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan. So is this Rahul Gandhi taking on Gautam Adani and through him taking on Prime Minister Modi?
In that case, you need to listen to a lot many more Congress chief ministers and to the opposition chief ministers as well. I think barring a few, people have come out in the open and have spoken on the Adani scam. Look, there are very serious charges of round tripping. There are very serious charges of the promoter holding free float stake, 13% of the 25% free float, which actually triggers an automatic delisting. These are very, very serious charges, something that we can't discuss in passe. I really think that Mr. Gandhi has led the charge against the whole Adani scam. Mr. Gandhi brought it to light in the parliament. He was even willing to sacrifice his Lok Sabha seat and his, membership. The reality is that Mr. Gandhi has been at the forefront of bringing this scam to light, and I think it was only fair that when the world is talking about him, and Rajdeep, may I take 30 seconds to just say, the global headlines are saying that a family business linked to Modi, India's Prime Minister, is being named and being associated with the scam. I think these are very serious charges just before a G20 meeting.
No, but you're not answering my question whether Rahul Gandhi, who's taking up these issues, is doing so on his own volition. Has he consulted the India Alliance? You see, because there's a meeting going on at the moment, a dinner meeting of the India Alliance. Is Gautam Adani the issue, or is it how are we going to prepare and strategize for 2020 for the issue?
We are a bunch of extremely competent people who can multitask. So while we blow the lid of the Adani scam, while we hold Mr. Modi accountable despite his pressure tactics and despite his tactics to deflect attention away, we can also jolly well sit together and discuss the India Alliance, the way ahead, what are the meeting points. There's an entire agenda that has been discussed in an informal meeting and also over dinner. There is an entire meeting that's planned tomorrow. So give us credit for being people who are smart, people who can multitask, and people who can do both the alliance as well as blow the lid off the Adani scam.
I will keep asking this. Is the entire India alliance on board with Rahul Gandhi when he says the Modi government stands accused of corporate cronyism? Is Rahul Gandhi a lone ranger in this? Are there all Congress leaders on board? The truth of the matter is Gautam Adani has investments in Kerala, where there's a left government. He has investments in Bengal, where Mamta Banerjee is chief minister. He has investments in Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan, where you are in power. I just want to understand, Rahul Gandhi, by going for Gautam Adani in the manner that he did today, following those revelations, is he now going to rake up? Is this Adani 2.0, as I'm calling it? Is that what we are seeing? And will that in some way become now still Rahul Gandhi's selling point?
How is this 2.0? There were pertinent questions that were raised on foreign funds holding money in Adani Group and those foreign funds actually being front for promoters. You have news reports which are done by very, very credible agencies that now say that that money was actually pumped in by promoters, pushed out of India, it has come back. I think this is round tripping of the worst kind. So this is Adani saga, Adani scam that continues. As far as Rahul Gandhi or the Congress party is concerned, I'm glad you asked me that question because this is an important clarification that I would want to make. I'm somebody who understands economy. I'm somebody who understands finance. I come from that world. The reality is that the Congress party opened up Indian economy. The Congress party has championed the biggest reforms. The Congress party is not against profit. The Congress party is not against corporates. What the Congress party is against dirty crony capitalism. If Mr. Adani wins a tender by being the lowest bidder and it's a fair tender, by all means. But if Mr. Adani is going to be given 6 airports, despite the fact that the Finance Ministry and Niti Aayog write against it, how is that justified? How is it justified that the SEBI does nothing about it, and in 2017 the SEBI chief who retires is today the head of the of a news channel that Mr. Adani owns? How is it justified that DRI, after Mr. Adani comes to power, closes 2 scams that were probing Adani? So I think these are questions. Have you heard a single ally today say that Mr. Gandhi has raised a wrong issue, or what has come to light is insignificant?
No, I haven't heard them echo what Mr. Gandhi has said. But yes, they haven't spoken out against Mr. Gandhi. But you mentioned SEBI chief UK Sinha. For example, according to this report, SEBI did not act against the charges that were made against Mr. Adani. Now, Mr. UK Sinha was known to be close to the late President Pranab Mukherjee. He was in the finance ministry at the time. Mr. UK Sinha was seen to be someone whose appointment as SEBI chief was made with the blessings, many say, of people close to Pranab Mukherjee. There are Congress leaders in your own party who are seen to be close to Gautam Adani. Is this about Gautam Adani, the individual? When you mention SEBI, for example, many are saying many of these, even the over-invoicing charges were started when the Congress was in power. What did the Congress do about it? So the question that I am raising, how is it that Narendra Modi alone, according to you, is responsible for what's happened with the Adanis?
I am glad you are raising that question, because this is never ever about one individual. This is about the dirty political patronage that one corporate enjoyed because of his association, because of his proximity to India's Prime Minister. This is about institutions that were stymied for one man. This is because rules of SEZ ports and airports were changed for one man. This is because a man who claims proximity and is known to be close to Prime Minister Modi funded his campaign. It was his jets that Mr. Modi campaigned in pre-2014. He has won accolades after he has come to power. He has won deals as recently as Greece. Mr. Modi goes to Greece from South Africa. He comes back and Mr. Adani is looking at ports there. So this is proximity and political patronage of the worst kind. This is what crony capitalism is all about.
My final question to you is quite simply this. The Adani story broke early this morning. By afternoon, the Modi government has said 5-day special session of Parliament from the 18th to the 22nd. What's the mood at that dinner? Is there a belief that Mr. Modi is going for an early election? Mamta Banerjee seems to believe so. Or do you believe this is all a diversion from the Adani question? A quick answer.
The room is full of the smartest politicians in India, and they know this is nothing but a deflection, a diversionary tactic of Prime Minister Modi to derail the coverage of the India agenda. But the reality is that whether it's unemployment, whether it's high prices, whether it's women, whether it's Manipur, whether it's income inequality, people of this country realize that Mr. Modi is going to give political patronage to Gautam Adani and not to the people of this country. The mood is buoyant, and we have decided, and we will stall Mr. Modi's innings right in his tracks.
Okay. You've got Supriya Srinath. I pulled her out of dinner, which is very unfair. So I'm going to allow her to move on. Thank you very much, Supriya, for joining us. We're going to raise the big question, because it's not just the Adani question. That special session of Parliament has led to several major political questions being raised. The big one, of course, is Mission 2024 being fast-forwarded? Is Prime Minister Modi going in for an early election? Battle of narratives, who has the edge? Has India's coming together made the Modi government nervous, as the opposition claims, or has the opposition still failed to get its act together? I'm joined by special guests. With me now, Clyde Crasto, also coming out of that meeting of the NCP, is joining me. Sushmita Dev, the Trinamool Congress MP, Shehzad Poonawala, Evergreen BJP spokesperson, Manisha Priyam, political analyst, joining me. We'll come to those Adani allegations. I have a special story on that later. But you just heard Clyde Crasto just now, Supriya Srinath, saying that, look, Rahul Gandhi has taken up this issue. All parties are one with him. Is Sharad Pawar one with him? The same Sharad Pawar, your leader, who in an interview a couple of months ago said Gautam Adani is an asset to this country. He builds India's infrastructure. He seems to not agree with the Rahul Gandhi line that Gautam Adani is a scamster.
If something has come out in the open, it is the government's job. There's a law and judiciary in our country. It's their job to look into it. The government, if they're supporting Adani, why are they supporting? It's their job to bring it out in the open. If Mr. Rahul
Sharad Pawar is supporting Adani.
Let me finish this. Let me finish what I'm saying. He said what he had to say. He had his points. But if there is something that has been raised, I'm sure if the government brings it out, then people are going to look at it that way. So the point here is the government has to say, are they supporting Mr. Adani or are they not supporting Mr. Adani? That is their point. And you ask this question, are we with Mr. Rahul Gandhi? Obviously, we are all together. They are there inside. The meetings are going on. See, the India Alliance the meet that is happening, we have come together on a common platform. A common minimum program. We are here to serve the people of India.
Does the common platform include Adani?
Well, is he a political party?
No, Rahul Gandhi does a press conference here. He was here. No, Rahul Gandhi does a press conference here. Why were other leaders not there with him?
That is the Congress press conference. Is somebody from another channel going to sit here and conduct a debate with you? No, this is your channel. You are the anchor of this channel. You will conduct the debate.
I'm not in alliance with the other channels. You are.
No, that was the Congress party. See, like I told you, we are different parties coming together on a common minimum program. We are here to serve the people. Tell me something. The BJP calls itself so invincible. Okay, after years, they brought the NDA together. It was in the cold storage. They've thawed it and brought it out. So what are they afraid of? They are so invincible. Tell the BJP to fight alone.
Okay.
Why are they not fighting alone?
Okay, Shehzad Poonawala, early morning, the entire narrative across global papers, and these are now big papers, Guardian, Financial Times, saying Adani, company linked to Modi, is accused of misusing offshore funds. Then by afternoon, we hear of a special session of parliament being called. Is the BJP using a diversionary tactic, as the opposition alleges, because you're fearing that the India alliance can capture the narrative using issues like the Adani issue to accuse you of corporate cronyism? What exactly is all of this about? Is the government worried about the emergence of the India alliance or not?
Rajdeep, as the panel is placed right now, it is going to be a 3 versus 1 against me, and you've already opened by giving Supriya Shrineth an uninterrupted time to make all these allegations. I wonder why the Congress won't face me. Perhaps because, and I hope Rajdeep you won't interrupt me for the next 45 seconds when I bust this entire fake narrative on the Adani issue. 2 months ago, you, me and Rahul Kaval in your studio where I'm sitting right now were sitting, and Supriya Shrineth had said, tomorrow morning I'm doing a press conference on the 20,000 crores, where it has come from and how Adani is responsible for that money being round-tripped and it came into shell companies. Till date, that press conference hasn't happened. But what has happened is just a lot of hypocrisy. By the way, Rajdeep, please tell me that the Supreme Court is monitoring the probe. It set up an expert panel. It has people like KV Kamath, Nandan Nilekani, Justice Sapre and others who went through the SEBI report on it, and after that came to a conclusion that no regulatory failure can be said. So are you saying that there's a question mark on the integrity of KV Kamath, or the question mark on the integrity of Nandan Nilekani? Forget that. I'm saying if Rahul Gandhi's allegations are to be taken on face value, he's saying 2 things. Adani is completely corrupt and that he's colluded with anti-national forces. Then by that logic, how can you give any project to this man anywhere in the country, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh or any other place, and him going to Sharad Pawar's house should be the most egregious offense. Tomorrow he should not sit with Sharad Pawar. But having said that, you know what, Rajdeep, you did not ask Supriya Shrineth, and you asked a lot of questions, but you should have asked her, when did Adani get the Mundra port, by the way? When did he get the 6 SEZs that she was just screaming about? When was it that he came into power sector and he became the biggest power player? And when did he get his first coal mine, which was outside India, all during the UPA tenure? Obviously, Rajdeep, she does not want to answer that. Therefore, the Congress party has no courage to answer me. But no, therefore, let me ask one question, Rajdeep. Just let me ask one question. Rajdeep, let me finish my statement.
Has the latest revelations put the BJP Modi government on the defensive when global newspapers ahead of the G20 summit are accusing someone who's close to the Prime Minister of serious financial irregularities? Does that worry you? Because you are focusing on the G20 summit, and here some of the most respected newspapers in the world are putting out these stories.
Rajdeep, the most respected newspapers in the world, including the one that you probably like to read, the New York Times, spoke about how NewsClick, an organization, was receiving Chinese funding, and the Congress party, including the lady who came and gave you a one-on-one interview, was the one defending NewsClick when they were peddling Chinese narrative on Rafales, Chinese narrative on COVID vaccines, and trying to undermine India's position on a large number of issues. So what was that? That was not credible. And on that, the ED has taken action as well. What about the credibility of that newspaper? And today, this OCCRP organization is being funded by George Soros. Who's George Soros? The same newspaper and the organizations, including the government of England, have called him an economic war criminal for orchestrating the meltdown in UK, the Bank of England in 1992, in the Asian crisis, the role that he played by short selling. All of this has been said by those very newspapers. Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai, and the same OCCRP author, Ravi Nair, is a person who was writing for NewsClick. How much credibility he has, you can go and see on his social media. But that's not the point. Today, Rajdeep, I have just one question. Clyde Castro is sitting right next to you. Is Adani corrupt? Is Adani an anti-national? Ask him. If you have the courage, ask him. Rahul Gandhi has alluded that. Ask him.
No. 1 second. Let me come to that. 1 second.
1 minute, Shahzad. I've given you your time. No. Before I go, I will come to Sushmita in a moment. You want to answer that? He's putting a direct question to you. Does the NCP see Adani as someone who's working against India's interests as Rahul Gandhi does?
Answer Shahzad Puna. Let me talk about BJP. Quickly, I'll tell you one thing. He's talking about hypocrisy. He's talking about all these questions you want to ask. I want to ask this question, and not to him. I don't care about what he's saying. What I'm trying to ask here is, a month ago, in Bhopal, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, gave a speech and he spoke about the cooperative scam in Maharashtra.
It is a simple question. Is Adani anti-national as Rahul Gandhi has alleged?
Once he related to the NCP, and after a few days,
I will ask him, don't worry.
He is talking about Mr. Ajit Pawar. After a few days, Ajit Pawar joins the party. Why are they silent? If they have the guts, why don't they do the inquiry on the cooperative scam? 1 minute. And why don't they talk about the irrigation scam?
What about
after the 2014 election or before the 2014 election, kept talking about the 70,000 irrigation scam. But when he done an early morning ceremony, everything was cleaned out. If the BJP has the guts, and if they are talking about all this, Let them do it. Let them do it.
Okay, Shehzad, I am in Mumbai, so I can't always come to you for intervention. Just bear with me. I will give you enough chance. But
let me just have one intervention.
Ask Sushmita Dev the same question.
Let me just have one intervention.
Do you share Rahul Gandhi's views on Gautam Adani? Please, Shehzad, I am the anchor. We will have to then. Just a minute. Go ahead.
So Rahul Gandhi has picked up an issue.
Yes.
Rahul Gandhi has picked up the issue. He has all the right to do so. What has happened and what will happen has to be decided. The law and judiciary and the government has to intervene. Will the BJP and the BJP spokesperson say that Adani is right? Tell them to say it.
Okay.
Tell them to say it.
Okay, 1 minute. Sushmita Dev, your party, there are investments that are there in Bengal by the Adani group. Does your party see this as a diversion from the real issues? That is the India alliance now going to take on Gautam Adani and the revelations and target the Modi government, or is the India alliance far more conscious about how to achieve some chemistry between allies, for example, between you and the left? What is your priority? What is the priority of this India alliance?
Sorry.
Sushmita, you're on mute.
Sorry.
Can you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah, first of all, I think it's
go ahead now.
It's quite surprising to see any party spokesperson defending Adani. I hope your viewers are noticing that. Number two, whatever our stand on Adani is not only on TV channels, but is also in the and Rajya Sabha. Our parliamentarians and members of parliament have given their views on Adani very clearly. Thirdly, Rajdeep, to say that just because Mr. Adani has made an investment in Chhattisgarh or has made an investment in West Bengal means that he's capable of no wrong and we can't question him on any other issue is a complete fallacy. Today, a businessman may have done something in some state or made some investment in some state. That doesn't give him a blanket permit to go and do something that is totally against the SEBI rules or whatever in another case. So please stop cornering a Bhupesh Baghel and a Ashok Gehlot and a Mamata Banerjee saying, oh, they've invested in these states, so Adani now should get a clean sheet from all the parties. I think that argument is absolutely
does Mamata Banerjee share Rahul Gandhi's views about the way the Adani group operates? My simple question is, does Mamata Banerjee share? Rahul Gandhi had a separate press conference today targeting Adani based on these revelations. Does Mamata Banerjee, do the India allies support Rahul Gandhi in this crusade that he has launched against the Adanis and their alleged links with the Modi government?
At the cost of repeating myself, whether it is a Adani or whether it's a Ambani or whether it's the Tatas, if you are guilty of bad and illegal business practices, why should any chief minister support it? Why are you making this about Rahul Gandhi's press meet? That's the point I'm making. I mean, there is clearly you're trying to look for a divide amongst the parties who are in alliance in India, but it's not going to work. If something is wrong, it is wrong. If something is right, it is right. With Adani. If Adani does something wrong, why will any chief minister support him?
The fact is, Shehzad Poonawalla, the Prime Minister has kept completely silent. The Prime Minister has kept completely silent on the Adani question. Now that it's resurfaced, will the Prime Minister be ready to speak? So far he's kept silent. Instead, we now have the Prime Minister or the Parliamentary Affairs Minister saying 5-day special session in the middle of Ganesh Chaturthi to celebrate Amrit Kal. The feeling is this is a diversionary tactic. You all don't want to face the real issues. Instead, you want to use issues to pump up the Prime Minister's image rather than the Prime Minister answering the questions on Adani that the opposition wants to raise.
Give me 45 seconds to answer that question without interruptions. First of all, are you suggesting that a special session of Parliament, which is something that has been done not just for the first time, but it has happened in Vajpayeeji's tenure and in the UPA, is a diversion? So calling for parliamentary session where people's issues are discussed is a diversion according to Rajdeep Sardesai. All right. Now let me come to the larger question that you're asking about Prime Minister's
Not
silence.
according to me, according to the opposition. Shehzad Poonawalla, please. I said the opposition says it's a diversion. Suddenly out of the blue you announce a special session in the middle of Ganesh Chaturthi.
Rajdeep, don't get so defensive. I understand. I didn't mean it against you. I meant that this is what you're conveying. Anyways, let me move on. Rajdeep, now let me come to the issue. I am glad the Prime Minister does not speak on this. I'll tell you why. Because there's a Supreme Court probe which the expert panel committee was doing. Should the Prime Minister or any executive authority be saying anything when a judicial probe is on? This is the separation of powers that we always envy in the Constitution. But Rajdeep, I want to ask you, when the Supreme Court gives a, or the panel in the sense says that the SEBI has done no regulatory mistake and it has come out with its categorical finding, and I know you have gone through that report, and if still Adani is considered to be corrupt, I am not defending Adani, I am saying if he is considered to be corrupt or something that has been done wrong by him, then what allows the Chief Minister to invite him and give him Tajpur port in West Bengal? And please tell me that if he is corrupt, then how come he can be corrupt in one part of the country but not in others? So when Dighi port was handed over by Uddhav Thackeray, was it corrupt or not corrupt? And thirdly, I want to ask you a very specific question. Here is the TMC. Now on this so-called divide part, Sushmita ji has let the cat out of the bag. The TMC never demanded a JPC. I'm reading out official statement of Mr. Derek O'Brien. TMC says, I appeal to the state governments to probe Adani Group wherever they have a project. This is their stand. Now I ask you that when this was the stand of TMC and there was nothing to hide, why didn't Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan order the probes? This is Derek O'Brien's stand. And by the way, let me also tell you, Mr. Khadge on 2nd February 2023 said, either Supreme Court probe or JPC, one of them. The Supreme Court probe started when a Congress leader, Jaya Thakur, went to court. When that started, do they not have faith in the Supreme Court? And it is the TMC which said that state government should probe. So I asked the TMC, where is the state government probe in Rajasthan? Where is the state government probe? But let me come to the larger issue now.
Okay, you made Shehzad, yes, go ahead.
Rajdeep, I'll tell you what the problem is. Rajdeep, just 20 seconds, I'll tell you the problem. The problem is that on one hand, you have mission and vision of the Prime Minister who wants to take this country from 10th to 3rd position, who wants to take 13.5 crore people out of poverty, who wants to double per capita income, who's quadruple per capita income of middle class. But other end, you have people who have just no mission, vision, only contradiction and ambition. And with this ambition, sometimes they say we will become PM. But they, in their contradiction, you can see TMC versus left. Okay. You can see TMC versus Congress party. You can see Congress versus left today. Today, Pinarayi Vijayan has said Congress is not secular. Today, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary is saying democracy is dead in West Bengal under Mamata Banerjee after the bomb blast case. Where is this contradiction coming from? Because they have nothing in common. What is their common between on 370? Okay, Article 370 is an important issue.
You made your point, Shehzad. Okay, you made your point. Let me get Sushmita to respond, and then I'll come to you, Manisha Priyam, on the bigger political picture. But Sushmita Dev, according to Shehzad Poonawalla, the real issue is, can this India alliance get its act together? Can they actually overcome their contradictions, TMC versus left, AAP versus Congress, and actually present a cohesive, positive message from this India alliance, rather than simply suggesting that the Modi government is culpable in alleged Adani scams or cronyism?
Rajdeep, let me make it very clear that this entire reaction of the BJP, which is coming out repeatedly after every meeting of the India Alliance meeting, speaks volumes in itself. And secondly, I would like to say that I do not expect any member of the BJP to understand the dynamics of the alliance, because yes, it's a democratic alliance. We air our views. We may have different nuanced views on issues, but the fact is that we are all united on the issue of inflation, issues like unemployment, and issues like selective persecution when it comes to corruption. So I would like to tell the BJP spokesperson that you can keep poking holes in the Indian alliance, but we are united on many of the larger issues that is ailing this country because of Prime Minister Modi and the NDA alliance. So make no mistake, we are going to have a common minimum program, and we are going to act on it. And that is what is rattling the BJP, who are having verbal diarrhea saying, oh, India alliance won't work. It will work. And please calculate your own percentage of the vote share and calculate the percentage vote share of the Indian alliance partners, and that itself is a starting point for us.
Okay, can I bring in Manisha Priyam? Manisha Priyam, do you get a sense that the BJP in any way is rattled either by the Adani revelations or the fact that the India alliance has not imploded yet, that they are still meeting? It's the third meeting, they're still talking to each other. Do you get a sense that the India alliance is posing a challenge, and this is leaving some to believe the Prime Minister could go in for an early election if only to prevent the India alliance from actually getting their act together?
So I think there are two questions and two different answers. On the Adani issue, I think the citizens of India were very rattled that when the India alliance was indeed meeting for a record third time and their numbers having swelled up, why on the Adani issue, the big revelation, etc., why Rahul Gandhi, flanked by Jairam Ramesh, came alone to do that presser, and none of the India allies were with him. Had he done it 2 days after the meeting in Bombay or 2 days before, anybody would have understood that, okay, this is being done by Mr. Rahul Gandhi alone. But on the eve when everybody is together, why the Adani presser was alone by Mr. Rahul Gandhi, that was an akla chalo moment for Mr. Rahul Gandhi when the India Alliance itself was meeting. That's number one. But I do believe that the India Alliance meeting time and again and persisting with its meetings, and the fact that nobody is getting out of the meeting saying, oh, I'm not getting along with that partner, and Arvind Kejriwal, for example, is not throwing the hat off saying, oh, in Punjab now I don't see eye to eye with the Congress. These things are not happening, and that's certainly rattling to the other part. And every time the India allies meet, I find now that on the other side, the BJP, which is now the NDA in a poll-ready mode, also has some answers ready. And this time around, the announcement of a special session of Parliament, for the Amrit Kal, which seems like a historic and epochal moment in India's meeting as a group of parliamentarians, that seemed to be something that could possibly rattle. And of course, the noise that there could be an early election. But the fact is,
no. So why do you think Mr. Modi is called a special session? Manisha Priyam, why do you think Mr. Modi has called a special session? Why do you think Mr. Modi has called this special session? Is it to divert attention? Is it to bring in some new legislation, talk of women's reservation, one nation, one election?
I think Mr. Modi has called the special session. I don't know what the legislative agenda at hand is, because the monsoon session has just ended and most of the legislative agendas have been passed without the other parties being there, or with the support of the the BJD, etc.
Right.
Even contentious legislation such as the Delhi civil servants posting, etc. That business has been done. The Parliament has transacted business. The Manipur no confidence was discussed much later, only to transact all the other business, and that has happened. I think the special session has been called for Mr. Narendra Modi to mark this as a historic moment, to mark himself and his government for the last decade as something historically different from anything else that has gone on ever before in the country, to bring out a national narrative just as he brought out from the ramparts of the Red Fort. And I would see this Amrit Kal special session as Mr. Modi is sounding the poll bugle in a national sort of way, whereas the India allies would still be fighting very localized.
But just a minute, I'm just going to intervene. He's
with local issues.
Okay, but the fact is, he had the August 15 speech, he had the no confidence speech, and he's got G20 and Chandrayaan. While the opposition is claiming Mr. Modi or the Modi government is rattled by the coming together of India alliance, Clyde Crasto, the flip would be that Mr. Modi's popularity could go only further up. Chandrayaan, good GDP numbers coming in today, 7.8%. Mr. Modi has already brought down LPG prices by 200. There's talk of petrol prices coming down. There will be the G20 summit. So Mr. Modi may be only looking to capitalize and make 2024 a leadership contest and ask the opposition, Modi versus who? When he asks this question tomorrow, Modi versus who? What are you going to answer?
That's the point. When you're saying Modi versus who, that means the BJP and the NDA, they have only one person, or they don't want anybody else from the NDA to come ahead. The difference is, in the India alliance, we have many people worthy of being the Prime Minister. But here, I'm sure that the BJP is not allowing any, so he's treating all the other NDA partners as people who are worthless. They don't have the capacity to be Parliament. Let me finish. Well, you've asked me a question, let me finish.
Yes.
Also, at the same time, calling a Parliament session could be anything. to praise one's own self, to say that but there are so many other issues that I wish the Prime Minister and the BJP-led NDA government had called a special parliament session to discuss about Manipur. The issue of Manipur has not been discussed in the parliament at all. They should have called the special session to discuss Manipur.
No, there was a no confidence motion where Manipur was raised.
Manipur, what television were you watching, Rajdeep? What Manipur issue was raised? They did not speak about, by saying that Manipur there will be peace. Everybody wants peace there, but what are you going to do? I wish they had spoken about what has happened in Manipur. I wish they had spoken about what they're going to do, what steps that nobody said anything. One more thing, let me tell you one more thing. And the fact that BJP is rattled, I'll tell you how the BJP is rattled. Here in Maharashtra also, you're sitting here in Mumbai with me, we are here. There was the opposition, that is our opposition, the BJP, the Eknath Shinde camp, the Ajit Pawar camp. They had no meeting planned earlier, but because we had the India meet here, they have come together and they are having a meet there to discuss all these things. BJP is rattled. BJP wants to make sure that before the India meet and the India alliance take off, they want to hold some elections so that the people...
Okay, just a minute. No, just a minute, sir.
People of India.
No, just a minute.
They cannot fool the people of India. That's what I'm trying to say.
My final word to you, Shehzad, is this special session about once again band baja barat around Prime Minister Modi? When the fact is, you've got serious problems. I'm in Maharashtra, there's a serious onion crisis. Unemployment is a serious issue. Are these the real issues that you should be debating in Parliament? Instead, it is suggested that this special session will be about once again band, baja, barat around one individual, make Mr. Modi larger than life. A final word.
Rajdeep, I'll answer your question in the next 20 seconds, but I'll first address Clyde and the other panelists. Let me start by Clyde. Clyde said that, do I not have any other face? Rajdeep, when you're sure of your plans...
No, you address my question, we are running out of time.
When you're sure of your plans, you don't need plan B, plan C. Rajdeep, you anchor 9 p.m. There are no replacement anchors for 9 p.m., are there? It's not something that they're not sure of. So just like they are sure that you will anchor at 9, we are sure our Prime Minister will be there. But Rajdeep, having said that, Rajdeep, may I complete? Rajdeep, may I complete? Rajdeep, who is rattled? Yes. Aam Aadmi Party was born out of cursing and trying to send Congress to jail. PDP fought NC for all their life. TMC said 34 years of left Khuni rule where democracy was stifled. Congress fought left in Kerala all their life. Those who are rattled are today leaving aside their differences and coming together because they're rattled by a man called Pradhan Mantri Modi, who's delivering for the people. They are rattled, not us. We are delivering, they are rattled. And as far as the special session is concerned, Rajdeep, every session of Parliament is band, baja, barat for the people of India. So yes, we will use the special session to announce and to do work and to execute and to implement and to legislate for the people of India with band, baja, barat.
Okay, people of India, band, baja, barat.
No,
yes,
1 second,
30-second advantage of being with me here next to me. Quickly, what is it? What is your last point?
See,
hold the mic.
My last point is very, very simple. Shehzad Poonawalla says it's not rattled. If they are not rattled, then why doesn't BJP take the challenge of fighting the 2024 elections alone without the NDA parties, the alliance? Fight alone and prove to the people of India that we are invincible like we claim.
Rajdeep, let me
and take
answer
the challenge and fight the elections alone.
Let me answer this. Rajdeep, let me answer this.
30 seconds, yes.
Rajdeep, I follow...
Yes.
You know, Rajdeep, the real double engine of television news is Rajdeep and Rahul Kaval, who did a Mood of the Nation survey. And in that survey, you said even the BJP has got more than 282. It's not our arrogance, but the fact that if it's a commitment to an ally, we work with the ally. Mr. Paswan was not there. We had come into power without anybody's support, but we made Mr. Paswan a minister. Mr. Nitish Kumar was a smaller party. We made him the chief minister. In Maharashtra, Eknath Shinde has 40 MLAs. We have 100, but we made him the chief minister because we consider our allies, our friends through good times and bad. And therefore, Prime Minister Modi says, allies ke saath chalenge, chahe hamari sarkar akeli kyun na bane.
There are a number of allies, Shehzad. May I stop there? There are a number of allies.
If you break the government, we'll make you CM. That's what they did. They did not fight elections together.
We've heard now. You've heard the big political debate. The truth is, while politics takes center stage, there are certain real stories on the ground that need urgent redressal. One of them is that of Kota suicides, a story we've been following right through this week. Remember, the number of students who've committed suicide this year alone in India's entrance exam hub has gone up to 24. 6 deaths reported in this month of August alone. Parents are terrified. Students are committing suicide. What's the mood in Kota? It's our Get Real India story tonight.
Kota, the coaching capital of India. Thousands of students dreaming of clearing entrance exams like IIT-JEE and NEET come here every year. From hours-long study sessions to seeking divine intervention, aspirants leave nothing to chance. This temple in Talwandi, dedicated to Krishna and Radha, has become very popular, with students writing their wishes and aspirations on the wall of beliefs, hoping their prayers will be heard by the deities.
In Kota, suicides are constantly increasing. We are standing at the Radhakrishnan temple. This temple is very interesting in context of Kota coaching industry and students. Every year, lakhs of students come to Kota and many live in this Talwandi area. This is Radhakrishnan temple and we are showing you something very shocking. This is the wall where the IIT aspirants, AIMS aspirants write what they want to achieve.
But what happens when these wishes don't come true? While some find the courage to bounce back, there are some who succumb to the pressure. This year, 24 students have taken their lives so far, with 6 deaths reported in August alone. Last year, 15 students died by suicide. The count has increased from 7 in 2017 to 24 this year.
हम लोगों को बहुत ज़्यादा फोर्स होता है क्योंकि कंपटीशन बहुत ज़्यादा है एंड अराउंड 25 लाख स्टूडेंट्स एक बार में बैठते हैं एग्ज़ाम में, तो कंपटीशन वहाँ टफ हो जाता है क्योंकि बहुत ज़्यादा बच्चे होते हैं और सीट्स बहुत कम होती हैं, इसलिए बच्चे प्रेशराइज्ड होते हैं, इसलिए वो डिसीजन सही नहीं लेते और गलत डिसीजन ले लेते हैं और अपनी लाइफ का डी एंड कर देते हैं।
मैं कहीं ना कहीं उतना नहीं दे पा रही हूँ जितना देना चाहिए। सभी यहाँ पे 14-15 घंटे पढ़ते हैं, मैं उतना नहीं पढ़ पा रही हूँ।
कितना घंटे पढ़ते?
12 घंटे।
12 घंटे बहुत होता है।
तो फिर यहाँ कंपटीशन बढ़ते जा रहा है।
The authorities this week banned tests for 2 months and decided to focus on providing counseling to students who need help.
कुछ पोस्टर्स हम लोग लेके आ रहे हैं, अपने मोटिवेशन पोस्टर्स को कह लीजिए अपन, वो सभी हॉस्टल्स के अंदर कमरों में हम मोटिवेशन बच्चों को करने के लिए लगाएंगे इसके अंदर, जिससे कि बच्चा उन पोस्टर को देख के थोड़ा सा तनाव दूर कर सकता है अपना।
मेरा ऐसा मानना है कि शायद एक तो कोरोना काल में 2 बच्चे घर पे रहे, 2 साल घर पे रहे, उसकी वजह से भी हमें थोड़ा स्टडी का करनी पड़ेगी कि रियलिटी में बच्चों में किस जगह मानसिक अवसाद हो रहा है। जो मुझे लग रहा है कि मेंटल प्रेशर झेलने की बच्चे की जो थोड़ी सी क्षमता है वो थोड़ी कम हो गई है। एक रिएक्शन जो मुझे लग रहा है कि चेन रिएक्शन हो गई है।
Many of these entrance tests were incidentally designed to avoid pressure on students, but they seem to have only helped the coaching centers to flourish. With Jai Kishan from Kota, Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, we've heard the terrible news coming in from Kota, but let me tonight leave you with a good news today story. And our good news today story comes from Kashmir, where a 10-year-old specially abled boy has become an inspiration for many. Imad Nazir and his love for cricket has gone viral on social media. His dream against all odds is to play for India one day. Isn't that all our dreams? Take a look at tonight's Good News Today story.
Unwavering determination and a dream to represent India. Hailing from Kashmir's Kulgam district, 10-year-old specially abled Imad Nazir's love for cricket keeps him going. Imad draws his inspiration from Mahendra Singh Dhoni, but his own journey is an inspiration for many.
जब से मैंने क्रिकेट खेला है तब से मुझको महेंद्र सिंह धोनी फेवरेट प्लेयर है। मैं बॉलिंग भी करता हूँ, बैटिंग भी करता हूँ। मुझे डीसी साहब और एसएससी साहब ने मदद की। मैं आगे भी चाहता हूँ ऐसे मदद करे, मैं इंडिया का नाम रोशन करूँ।
Imad lost his mother when he was born. His father has been a constant support for him.
जो आपने ये वीडियो उठाया था वो वायरल हुआ और उसके जरिए फिर डीसी साहब या एसएसपी साहब ने वो वीडियो देख के इसकी बहुत ज़्यादा हेल्प की।
Imad is chasing his dreams against all odds. Recently, a video of his love for cricket went viral.
तो लोग अमिस क्रिकेट शौक कर अमिस गो बचपन पान पे शौक क्रिकेट मे कोरस करन किस पे खोज गस तिथ पे गिंद कोरस सपोर्ट अमिस हसा कोर डीसी साहबन ति मदद अमिस हसा कोर एसपी साहबन ति मदद तो बह हसा छु शुक्र गुजार डीसी साहबस एसपी साहबस अमिस गस हमेशा गसुन इसे पठन
बच्चे के हाथ में बैट आप देख सकते हैं.
PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti spotted the video and shared Imad's story on social media.
इस दुनिया से इनकी मां का इंतकाल हो गया.
Cheers are pouring in for this little cricket enthusiast dream to represent his country. Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, that's it on the show tonight. The News Today, as always, brings you the news stories of the day. Ask the questions that few other primetime shows dare to ask. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Stay well, stay safe. Good night. Shubh Ratri, Jai Hind, Namaskar.